The return of RJTV's classic sports entertainment show, Pinoy Wrestling. Comics, films, TV, toys, games, science and tech. All the cool stuff that makes you go wow with the geeky misfit gang of Nerd Rage. Join musician Zach Lucero as he rides through the motoring world in his popular online show, Makina. Catch the fresh, eclectic, and dynamic side of music at the Vibe Factory. Get ready as the music goes bigger, harder, and louder with Amped. Join us as we travel back to where the legends lord it over with Pinoy rock and rhythm. And that's just the beginning. There will be more. Feel the shockwave. Rock of Manila TV, where everything rocks. Available on Sky Cable 229, your digital TV boxes, and on Facebook and YouTube Live. And check out our social media pages.
I'm Tim, the Pop Culture Crusader.
Hi, I'm Karen, not like the internet meme because I use my Karen powers for good.
Hi, I'm Veronica. I'm that 90s chick.
And I'm Adrian, that of the geeks. And you're on
Nerd Rage! Here at Rock of Manila TV.
Nerd Rage has been in existence since 2017 through our online channels.
And I was there from the very beginning.
There are Spider-Men from the comics and Spider-Man from the movies.
Yes!
And if you want to check out more, please check out nerdrageph.com.
Now, let's get it on with...
This Week in Geek!
A rundown of the coolest news this past week.
Just in case you've been living under a rock.
We're going to be talking about the big thing that happened in San Diego, which is the San Diego Comic-Con. And it was all about comics. Comics. There was no Hollywood presence. There was no Marvel Studios panel. There was no DC Studios panel. Everybody was waiting for news about James Gunn's new DC universe. But the only thing we got was 2 animated movie announcements. We're getting a new Watchmen animated movie and an adaptation of Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Crisis on Infinite Earths?
Yeah.
I didn't read it.
Ooh.
You should read it.
Yeah, I'll find the time.
We have personal friends who are attending the San Diego, or rather they attended the San Diego Comic-Con. Shout out to Karen Kunowitz.
Other Karen.
Yeah, Chris Cantada, Gino Killamar, and Jaco De Leon.
Yay!
Yeah,
friendship!
They were all there. In fact, Chris Cantada got to speak to Jamie Lee Curtis.
What?
Wow. He had one-on-one interview during the panel discussion where Jamie Lee Curtis was showing off her new work. Aside from that, San Diego Comic-Con, of course, is poison for toy collectors and comic book collectors because of all of the updates. You just have to type it in Google, you look at Facebook, you look at Instagram, you'll see all of the new products that are coming. For example, and I'm talking about Adrian here, he is looking forward to Super 7's Thundercats.
$500. $500.
Again, there's another reboot of Thundercats.
Oh, it's the ultimate line of figures.
The toy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the base.
All I can say about the Thundercats thing is Sword of Omens, give me sight beyond sight and cash beyond cash.
And you know, here's the thing with that, when it comes down to play sets now typically go for the $300 mark and above. That's just like one of the latest ones. I also saw that HasLab is bringing out the Ghost for the Ahsoka series.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the biggest ship
the ship.
Yeah.
God.
$500.
That's HasLab for you. We have
Sounds like a villain, like $500.
$500.
I want you to send me $500.
All right, we should also give a special shout out to the Voltus 5 Legacy crew. They were there. They had their own booth at the San Diego Comic-Con, along with Direct Mark Reyes. There was Steve, Jamie, and Commander Robinson themselves.
They also had a very very successful panel.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
Very nice.
Congrats to the Voltus crew.
Yay!
Yeah.
All right, now combining my love for fandom and fashion, we have an upcoming collaboration with NBA and My Hero Academia. So that's in partnership with Toho Animation, Hyperfly, and Crunchyroll. They're gonna be putting All Might on major basketball teams, like you got the Lakers, you got the Celtics, and you got other big basketball teams. I'm not really sporty, but because there's anime, I'm so there. So the collection is gonna drop probably in the fall for US, Canada. I think they're gonna do that also for Japan. So if you have relatives over there, it's time to make pabili. Magpalakas na kayo sa inyong mga kamag-anak, friends, and what have you. And yeah, let's go plus ultra on our merch. I'm definitely gonna make pabili. So, locally, if you wanna get more anime energy in your closet, you should check out the Uniqlo UT collab with Clamp. Oh my gosh, if you're a millennial, tito or tita, you're a 90s kid, y'all know what time is it. They are the kings and queens of very, very pretty shoujo anime. Like, all my crushes are kinda based on the Clamp character. So, in the collection, there's Tsubasa Chronicle, there's Triple X Holic, and Magic Knight Ray Earth, which had like such a top tier Tagalog dub. Cardcaptor Sakura as well. So I'm definitely gonna buy it when it becomes available. Oh wait, it's available now, so now I can buy it. Yay!
Yay!
Nobody commented the whole time.
You were giving your spiel, but of course I also grew up with Magic Knight Re-Earth and Cardcaptor Sakura. I wish there were other selections, but I guess it's a
I wanted to see X99.
I know. X, what do you call this? Before X, Tokyo Babylon.
You know, speaking of X, it reminds me of Twitter.
Exactly. But we segue to that because Elon Musk is rebranding Twitter as X or Fast X.
So what's interesting about that is in Japan, there's a band called X Japan. So when they're quite excited for it to turn into X so that they can be like, yeah, I'm on X Japan, which is like a popular J-rock group there.
There you go.
90s kids, y'all know.
X Japan and X Japan.
Wait a minute.
Or, you know.
You mentioned Elon Musk. So are we going to have to start telling people, hey, you can check us out on x.com/nerdrage.
It seems very spicy and
check us out
suspicious.
on X.
Yeah,
Exactly. Or maybe it's a call out to, we don't want you here.
But I'm looking forward to visiting x.com/timster.
Oh my God.
You know, X,
Oh God.
X is safe, but when it gets triple X,
No, that's
triple X holic
it's only one digit. But then again,
Oh.
what are you thinking of, Adrian?
All the best websites begin with an X anyway.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Spoken like a true X fan.
X-Men.
Exactly.
X-Man.
In a different way.
We're gonna get so canceled for
No.
that.
You can find Adrian at X.
Extract yourself from toxic relationships.
Exactly.
Don't go back to your ex. And speaking of trash, take it away, Adrian.
Thank you for that, Karen. Meanwhile, in Pinoy Science News, the 17th National Symposium on Marine Science, sponsored by the PAMS, was recently held in Batangas City. One of the papers to come out of it was a thesis by MS Marine Science student Norchel Gomez. Gomez's study found microbes that could theoretically be cultivated and or bioengineered to eat plastic waste. Manila Bay's got a lot of waste and apparently waste-eating microbes as well. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Call your exes. This microbe's gonna eliminate them.
There you go.
Alright.
It's okay, you know, with the rate that the land is being taken up with all the land, all the water reclamation and everything going on, there ain't gonna be any microbes there left. It's fine. And would you look at that? I do believe we are nerded out for this segment. Anyways, we're going to be taking a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about Barbenheimer. So our minds are going to be blown collectively. Catch y'all after the break.
It's a great day for RJ Guitar Center. It's a new product and we got the distributorship. Donner, D-O-N-N-E-R. It's a US brand and they have a whole array of fantastic products, effects, guitars, electric drums. So this is the hi-hat, the electric drums. Woo. Wow, sounds good. Sounds like, whoa. Wow. Where's your, oh, crash. That's your favorite. Right, what about the right? The right. What's the other one? Oh, fantastic. This is Donner electric drums. And this is the controls. These are the controls here. You have your controls. There's bass and treble, so you can EQ it. You can EQ the drums. Sounds good, really good. Okay. There's a bass drum here. There's a little device here that, as if you're hitting a bass drum. Most electric drums don't have that. They just have a pedal. See, there's a they just have a little pedal. Ito talaga may bass drum ito. So this drums is 27,999 with 30 drum kits and 450 sounds with a USB MIDI ready for computer software with kick drum pad and beater. Donner, D-O-N-N-E-R products. It's a USA brand, top seller in Amazon. But listen to this. You might say, so I'll just buy it in Amazon. And nandito na sa Pilipinas, you don't have to pay freight. Same price, guaranteed, same price as Amazon.
Oh, hey, Ronnie, what you playing?
Oh, hey, Tim. I'm playing AEW Fight Forever on a Nintendo Switch. What are you playing?
I have a PS5 controller right here, and I was playing Street Fighter 6.
Right on. Welcome back to Nerd Rage. I am so sorry you just caught us playing with ourselves, but I believe that is the best segue into Screen Spot, which is our review segment. Let's take it away with our review of Street Fighter 6.
Let's go. So what are the basics first? If you have no idea what Street Fighter is, it's a fighting game franchise by Capcom that has gone over 30 years. So actually, this coming end of August, it's going to be celebrating its 36th anniversary.
Wait, 36.
36.
Yes. I really could have sworn it came out a lot earlier than that.
Well,
91.
Okay, 91 is Street Fighter 2. That's the most well-known installment in the franchise. That revolutionized the video game industry as we know it. It had people flooding arcades in the 90s. It made fighting games a popular thing to get into. So because it's one person fighting against one person, there's no BS. Over time, Street Fighter influenced a lot of other video game makers to come out with their own fighting game properties. We have Mortal Kombat, of course.
Tekken.
Yeah, Tekken. That's 3D, that's later. But
Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur. Then we have Virtua Fighter. And then, of course, SNK with their King of Fighters series, Fatal Fury series, Samurai Showdown. The list goes on. But Street Fighter remains on the top of the food chain. It's the champion. So that's why the latest installment in the franchise is Street Fighter 6, which came out in June 2. So it's over a month old. And we're going to show you why it's one of the best installments in the franchise. And I'm saying that because I'm a big Street Fighter fan.
Okay, so what makes Street Fighter 6 different from previous games in the franchise?
Street Fighter 6 being the latest installment of the Street Fighter series, it had a lot to live up to because the last installment, Street Fighter 5, went through a topsy-turvy development process. In fact, when it was released back in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't a complete product. Unlike Street Fighter 4, which brought back Street Fighter from almost a decade-old absence, this one tried to focus more on the esports side of things. So it was online gameplay. The fighting game mechanics were barely polished, and it took years until they could say that it was a finished product. There was no story mode, there was no final boss. That came later on with patches. What can I say about Street Fighter 6? Yeah, the developers, it's a different guard from before. They really are fans of fighting games, and they took into account diversity and inclusion and bringing back an aspect of Street Fighter that wasn't seen since Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, which is the hip-hop and urban street genre. We get the product that is literally an evolution of the franchise where it's 2.5D. It uses the RE engine, the same engine that powers the Resident Evil remakes. This game is beautiful to look at.
So with this new approach now, especially looking at the trailers, which we've been looking at for the last few minutes now, it seems to me that it's not necessarily taking away from that linear approach when it comes to playing Street Fighter, but it seems like there's a lot more emphasis now with Street Fighter more as a lifestyle, like the lifestyle of gaming. Is this something you really feel as you play the game?
I'm glad you brought that up because, as I said, it's inclusive. In fact, it doesn't just necessarily cater to fighting game veterans like myself. They fixed the control scheme to include those who don't know anything about fighting games. So you have mechanics where instead of pressing down, forward, punch to throw a Hadouken, you can now just press one button forward and punch to throw that same Hadouken with that new controller scheme. It's called Modern.
When it comes to those controller schemes, because for me, I haven't really played Street Fighter since I was a kid, and it sounds great.
Yes.
How does that feel for old school Street Fighter fans like you?
Well, for me, I have no problem with it as long as it's a fair fight, and sometimes people may spam or button mash. But this is really to give those who really wanted to get into fighting games but they have no idea how to execute those moves or combos a chance.
So Street Fighter 6 is really for everyone?
Yes, I can confidently say it is. There's just so many ways to play it, and it's still rooted in fighting games, but it's very easy to pick up and learn if you put the time to it.
So, how do you rate Street Fighter 6?
How would I rate it? 5 out of 5. Sure you can.
And with that, we're going to hit you right now with our review of AEW Fight Forever.
Hi guys, it's Karen Fukuhara here. I play Katana in Suicide Squad, and you're on Nerd Rage.
Still at it, huh, Ronnie?
Still at it.
And what exactly are we playing again?
So we are playing AEW Fight Forever. I really don't like modern wrestling video games. I've tried very hard to play modern wrestling video games, but instead of feeling like I'm playing a fighting game that happens to be a pro wrestling game, it feels like I'm playing a simulation of a wrestling match.
Why is that? I mean, okay, run me through this.
So with most modern wrestling games, it's all about recreating the product for players at home. So it gives you a host of customization options. You can basically do what you want with the game. But in delivering an actual television product as a video game, the problem is that it takes away from that, that feeling you get when you're playing a fighting game and you're just like, just right at it.
Exactly, that's why I play Street Fighter.
And that's why I've been playing UFC 3 for the last 4 years. So thankfully, AEW, All Elite Wrestling, has partnered up with THQ and the legendary Aki Corporation, two powerhouses when it comes to pro wrestling games, to provide fans with a brand new alternative. Now it remains to be seen, does AEW Fight Forever live up to its years-long hype, or is it gonna fizzle out like a Meltzer 5-star rating?
What do you mean by that? I mean, it really sounds like you're putting a lot of expectation into this product, and you have to talk to me like I don't know about wrestling games. No, on the contrary, I played past wrestling games like SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, Know Your Role. And even before that, the other companies like Acclaim that took a stab in the wrestling games of World Wrestling Entertainment. What is it about AEW that makes it different from the rest of the lot?
Okay, All Elite Wrestling is a relative newcomer to the squared circle that made its debut back in 2019. Formed by a core talent of names from WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling, AEW promised fans an edgier and more progressive alternative for mainstream wrestling. Now, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of All Elite Wrestling. There is a lot of things they do that I really don't like. But, on occasion, they do manage to catch me with something that I really love.
What do you mean? Oh.
AEW Fight Forever promises fans of the genre a simple pick-up-and-play arcade-style offering inspired by classic titles such as N64's WWF No Mercy and the original SmackDown series on PS1 and PS2.
All right, Ronnie, since you laid everything out and I can see that you're really into this game, how does it play?
Oh my god. I haven't stopped playing this since it came out.
Pretty obvious. Why?
Well, the basics of the game take about 10 minutes to figure out, and it literally encourages you to button mash until you start getting the hang of the more advanced controls as in play. So whether or not you're an AEW diehard or a casual wrestling fan, there's something here for you. Players have a selection of match types to choose from standard one-on-one and tag team matches, to multiplayer scrambles, and ultra-violent affairs like the lights out and exploding barbed wire death matches. Best of all, this game can do intergender matches. The freedom this game offers me, combined with its old-school pick-up-and-play approach, has easily made it the best wrestling game I've ever played since WWE Here Comes the Pain on the PS2. But even for all its positives, the game has limitations.
I thought you were having fun.
Well, the game has to create a wrestler and create an arena feature, both very standard when it comes to pro wrestling games in general. In AEW Fight Forever, these options are so limited, especially when you consider how in-depth WWE's 2K Creation Suite is to begin with. So, for my playthrough, I used my go-to create a wrestler, Penny Shannon, and I put her through the road to Elite. It's pretty much your standard bread and butter career mode, season mode. And it's really the only way you can level up a created wrestler in the game. The road to Elite mode is pretty straightforward and reminiscent of career modes in older wrestling video games. I will admit that the simplicity of the road to Elite mode can feel really basic for most modern gamers.
Wow, that's a very detailed explanation, and it seems that you put a lot of time into this game. I mean, unlike me, I'm still enjoying Street Fighter 6, but I gotta ask you, from one fellow fighting game player to another, is it worth it?
It's complicated. As a wrestling game, it feels like so much time and energy was spent fleshing out the wrestling aspect of the game that the developers severely neglected everything else. So, if you're like me and you've been starved for a really good wrestling game, you know, the kind where you just get into it, AEW Fight Forever more than delivers. However, given the current retail price of the game and its limitations, it's hard to justify it for its current costs. My recommendation:
wait for the sale and buy Street Fighter 6.
Wait for the sale and buy Street Fighter 6.
You heard our 2 reviews. If you want bang for your buck and you're paying a premium price, you should get Street Fighter 6. That's my personal recommendation. But for Ronnie, what would you say?
I give AEW Fight Forever 3.25 star super kicks out of 5.
Sweet chin music.
Sweet chin music, OG. Sweet OG.
Now, I kid you not, this is a professional, a real high-end guitar, but the price is so reasonable. This one is only 9,499. It's our top of the line also. And listen to the sound. It has an EQ and a tuner. Alabama, the RJ Alabama Premium Series. I kid you not, this is very hot selling, and it's a real gigging guitar.
And we're back on Nerd Rage. Ep.1 recently had a sit-down session with Voltus 5 director Mark Reyes. I was there for a bit, so let's check it out.
Hello there! Adrian here, that of the Geeks, and you're on Nerd Rage. And with me here is Direct Mark Reyes, director of Voltus 5 Legacy, Encantadia, and beep. Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. So, kamusta, Direct Mark?
Well, I'm thankful for this opportunity to get into the meat. I'm glad to have this opportunity to clarify some things.
Because I noticed you've been reacting to the reactions in real time. So how has it been for you?
It's gratifying that they see things that that we dwelled on, na parang sabi ko na, okay, let's, for example, the design of Gardo, that I said we must put some logic into it why he looks like that, because he's not a beast like the other beast fighters. So I thought the whole butterfly return, so he looks like a Japanese samurai, so let's put that in the script that he was based on the samurai. That's something that's a geeky element that wasn't part of the original story. It was just pinapakilala ko sa inyo, si Gardo, that's it. Then we took out the supernatural element. If you watch the anime, parang binasbasan kita ng ganyan-ganyan, ng sungay. So it was kind of off for the live action. No? So we took that out. I gave them all assignments. Because when I watch the anime, the minute that they vault in, they just react to what Steve is doing. I said, this can't be. So I gave them the assignments, so Mark is in second command, and then Big Bird's armory and weaponry, and then engineering is Little John, and then Jamie's communication and medical.
So speaking of those, parang what led to making those additions or changes? You gave them different tasks, or biglang voice activated pala yung ganun, which was brilliant.
Yeah. Because yun na nga, if you're doing an anime and then they do something kind of acceptable in an animation or in anime in the 70s, and if we just do it, without any rhyme or reason to make it believable with the modern audience, it's gonna really look weird. If they shout laser sword for no apparent reason, it will look theatrical. It will look, So that's one of the first conventions I thought of, was when we were doing the gimbal scene, just came to me, I said, I know what to do. Say this for Dr. Smith. Then voice activated. And then when I said that to the cast, I said, okay, this is the line of Dr. Smith. The weapons are voice activated. And I think it was Ralph or one of them said, cool, we'll put that in. So you saw Little John say that, diba? Yung cool. Well, I'm a nerd, basically. So I just wanted to put as much as Easter egg and in my head canon, all these things growing up, bakit like this, bakit like that, or this, so I had the opportunity now with Voltus 5 Legacy, so I was stuffing it with all those kinds of information.
Let's talk about your journey as a nerd yourself. Parang, what started this journey for you as a lover of all things fantastical and pop culture?
For me, it would be sci-fi, then action, then fantasy, then drama, romance, and comedy. That's down the line. Horror is my least favorite thing to watch. Now, it's not only because when I watch horror, my director in me kicks in na parang, paano ginawa yan? Oh, I bet you something's gonna come out in 3 seconds from, parang ganon. Anyway, when I was young, it was, you know, with all the toys that I have, and Star Wars came out, Voltus 5, Dimos, all those, that's where I latched on to. So I really enjoyed it. And growing up, there's Star Trek, Stargate, talagang sci-fi buff ako. So I'm sure all the sci-fi nerds there would say, oy, that's from Star Wars. Ay, from Stargate. It's all over Voltus 5 Legacy.
I do have a very specific question about the world. So, Filipino ba sila?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yes, they
so
are.
The characters were designed to be Filipino.
But if you notice, we did not put any culture.
Yes.
There was no Jose Rizal tie-up or any historical that was by design. Because we wanted to be timeless. So you don't know whether, so when we watch this 20 years from now, there's no reference, so you don't know where they are. You know, so we wanted to be as timeless as possible. And then the story doesn't need it. Well, that's coming up, no? That the world leaders, there's a international community, but we don't call it as UN. But but Earth Defense Force, yung mga ganon. So we try to be as timeless as possible. In-announce namin yung middle name ni Dr. Smith, which is the Japanese counterpart in the Japanese anime. Because Dr. Smith is part, ang weird niya, he's part Filipino with an American and half Filipino-American mother and a Japanese father. Kaya siya binabawan because he's imbibing the Japanese culture.
Was Junie Gamboa ever considered to be in the show?
From day one, I wanted him to play Dr. Smith. But go back, when we started this, it was 10 years ago that we wanted. If we shot this probably 10 years ago, then he would have been a shoe-in for Dr. Smith. But the pandemic hit, I had restrictions with senior actors, and he's really old na. So I don't think he can pull it off. So hindi na namin siya na-engage. But we did talk to him.
Ang question ko ngayon, what's up with the bed scene?
The bed scene, we felt, it was written by because, I know we're PG naman yung show, but we didn't show anything lewd. They were just together in bed because we wanted to show that their love, at least in the eyes of Sandra, it's a consummate thing that they were in love with each other. But again, the scene revealed na parang, don't ask me to choose between you and the Empire. I will choose the Empire over you anytime, diba? So, hurt si Sandra. But we wanted to show, kasi at the end, spoiler alert, that Sandra sacrifices herself for Zardos. We have to show that it's not level. Again, our market is not only kids, but the titos and titas of Manila. So we must have that adult level of content.
Even Michael V posted his opinions on the show, especially when it came out. So how did that feel for you? Na parang, syempre parang all praises, but he had little nitpicks pa rin.
Everyone would. I critique my own work, but we always strive for 100%, but if it falls short, it becomes 80 or 85 or 90. Yun yung we draw the line at siguro 85.
All right.
Nothing lower. Of course, I would nitpick because there's so many reasons. We couldn't get the right time for it na, we're over budget for a certain thing, we need to finish now. Those things are the reason why there are some pitfalls, I admit, this aired already. I wanted to do a more dramatic scene with the death of Mark's mom. Okay, I couldn't do too much because that was the middle of the pandemic. Of course, I cannot have CGI wolves, real wolves attack her. But we could have staged that better. We could have provided more CGI work for that. But I just wanted to make it, just deliver the message.
But may 2 weeks ng telenovela daw?
Because we're doing a Filipino soap. We could not do anything shorter than that, or else we will not reach the 80 episodes that is needed to produce the show. So we will fill in other stories. If you're just there to tune in for the Beast Fighter fights, then by all means do that. Just wait for the episode. But we want to run a story. And then people are reacting to it positively. There are some people who don't want it, people who appreciates it. Like, it was 2 weeks of building up the relationship of the parent of Mary Ann and the boys. I don't think you're going to cry like the way you cried when she died if we just killed her in episode 2 and then there's no backstory, you never saw the relationship. So we built that up.
Okay, well, given that, people are asking, bakit nga ba daily? I remember you mentioned before originally the plan was weekly. So how come
my plan was just a movie? And then GMA wanted, no, let's do a full-on, okay. Who am I to say no?
So paano siya naging daily? What decisions
Economics. to afford the CGI that you're enjoying and all those sets and all those expensive whatever, we have to do it this much to get the return of investment of GMA. Simple as that. Simple math.
From our friend Karen Kunowicz. Okay, so what goes into the mix of making Voltes 5? How much of this is your vision and as compared to what the fans want?
Maybe the best way to answer that is it was a Voltes 5 fan who made the show. So I considered a lot of those things when I was making it because I was a fan. So if I'm gonna sit down and watch it, I'd want to see all those, the voice commands, those little things. They were given assignments. I was looking at the project and I attacked it as a fan. So I'm sure that when people watch it, the fans watch it, they know that, oh, we were thinking of you. Call it fan service or not, but basically this I put ahead the needs of a fan.
From Russell Yao of Saber Source, any new weapons that this Voltes 5 will be showing off?
Very minimal. That's canon. We can't do anything spectacular or something new unless it's approved by Toei, but we have to stick to what's there.
From Nestor Domingo, Slick Masters Files. Okay, if you can recall, can you cite one or few memorable moments on shooting Voltes 5 Legacy that really left a mark on your own legacy as the show director?
The first time we lit up the Skull Ship, that was the first set that we shot, and then the actors came in all in all full costume, and then we shot that iconic back shot of them looking lang and the Earth was there. That was very memorable to me. It gives me a thrill as a fan and as a director. Parang wow, we're actually doing this in live animation.
So following the success of Voltes 5 Legacy, are there any plans for the show thereafter, like either streaming platforms or collectible home media items, DVD, Blu-ray?
It's coming, all those merch, the streaming versions. Just watch out for it, but that's all coming.
Atsushi Matsura, former guitarist of The Dawn. So why did they do a Japanese version of the theme song instead of having it translated into Filipino or English?
Best question. It will look awkward and there is no nostalgia to it. Even if you do it in English, the nostalgia is in the Japanese theme song. It's been in the Philippines from the 1970s all the way to the karaoke years, to political ads, to jingles. It's been there.
Well, on a similar vein, may post na lumabas na may ginawang meme na showing the photo of that, the screenshot of that bed scene. Tapos may shot ng cartoon Zardos na nagagalit. Parang, andun to.
Yeah.
The meme culture has helped in the...
It helps, and it's both constructive and degenerative, so you just have to pick your poison, kumbaga.
So what can we expect in this latter half?
There's so many. Well, we have the sad death of two major characters. We have a very original storyline that I don't know whether you will like it or not. The love story that people are so enraged about, chill people, between Mark, Steve, and Jamie. So there's a love triangle. And then there's the spin flight technique. There's the downfall of Bozania. Godor's gonna show up. And something else. But we have a very big surprise at the end.
So how does it feel to make a TV show that's in the can, way before everything?
There's less pressure because if you shoot you shoot today, you edit tonight, and you air tomorrow, or you air the same day, it's really stressful, and then the quality goes down. At least dito we have time to change, to adapt, to adjust. So it's the way it should be done.
What are the future plans for TV shows like this? Since it's been announced that there's going to be a Daimos.
Well, it's been announced that I don't know whether they're pushing through with it at this point. Again, it's beyond my pay grade. Am I part of it? I don't know. They might get another director. We really don't know. But at least we've set the standard. And we can tell the whole world that it can be done by the Filipinos. So I guess that's the biggest take-home that we have as a production, that ito na yung standard. When you expect My Sangre production next year, the level of quality of the CGI and the sets would be this level now. We can't go down. GMA should realize that. GMA has realized that. So we really set the bar high. So we have to maintain that.
Wait. You mentioned Sangre.
Yeah.
Yes. So What's it gonna be about?
It's not a reboot or whatever, no. It is the continuing story of where we left off in 2016. It is now that in 2016, if you guys recall, we showed the children, the offsprings. So this is their story now. So we showed the next generation of Sangres, and then we have the old Sangres because no one dies in Encantadia. So think of an endgame type of situation that they're all together in one scene, maybe.
The same Sangres from 2016? Yes. Are we talking about the OG?
No, 2016. So sila Kylie, sila Sanya, yan, that group. That's our universe now. If I do a flashpoint kind of thing, I could bring in the original Sangres of 2006. That will be an interesting thing to do. But we'll see how that plays out. Thank you for watching and still watching. Continue watching Voltes 5 Legacy. We did this for you, for the Filipinos. I know that the whole world is excited about it. You have to be proud of it. That is purely 100 Filipino-made production. Like we said, GMA spent so much on it. And you see the product naman, and then hopefully you enjoy the whole run until episode 80, which is sometime in August.
Thank you, Direct Mark, for granting us this interview with you, because we've been wanting to ask you so many things.
Time is baka maybe we can have a part 2. So as we go along. So
especially maybe closer to the end.
Yes, maybe closer to the end. So we could set up the finale very nicely.
Yeah.
Anytime.
All right. So there you have it, guys, on Nerd Rage. Direct Mark Reyes of Voltes 5 Legacy. This is Adrian Arcega, that of the Geeks, and we'll see you guys.
What? I can't believe you asked him about that scene, that spicy scene. But I am ready to vault in.
It's what?
So interesting. it's so riveting. It's giving telenovela. So I'm actually curious.
Ready to vault in. Empty RCB, Karen. Anyway, with Voltes 5 Legacy coming to a close this August, we will have a part 2 of this interview with Direct Mark Reyes. So watch out for that.
Thank you to Whistle Toys Green Hills for accommodating us in this interview.
Yo, that's my hood! And Whistle Toys is located in S-2004, 2nd floor, Shopsville at Green Hills Shopping Center. Yay!
So Whistle Toys also has additional branches over in Estancia Mall in Pasig City. They have another one in Santa Rosa, Laguna, and another one also in Lucena City in Quezon. So if you're around there, please check out Whistle Toys. And Whistle Toys, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Nerd Rage will be back after the break.
Now, what is the lowest price RJ acoustic beginner's guitar? This is the one. $999 only. It's the Baby Masa. Beautifully done. And let's listen to it. This is for all the lonely people, thinking that life would pass them by. So you can have a lot of fun for 999 pesos only. RJ Guitar Center is the exclusive distributor of Taylor guitars in the Philippines. This is a Taylor Academy 12E. Wow, that's beautiful. With its own EQ and tuner. Oh, I like that. Taylor Academy 10E with its own tuner and EQ.
And welcome back to Nerd Rage. It is time for our newest segment,
Screen Spot! We're supposed to say it together.
Okay.
One,
I'll do this, and then when I do this, okay.
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 Screen Spot!
Okay, on
Nailed it.
There we go. On Screen Spot, we're basically going to be checking out all the latest TV shows, movies, whatever it is, video games, and we're going to decide, is it worth it? Is it worth our money? So, the first thing we have to talk about, which is on everyone's mind right now. Okay, I'm getting really excited here because we were all over analyzing this over the weekend. Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer. Why I'm dressed this way?
Not Barbie, not Oppenheimer.
Barbenheimer.
So, okay, there is a lot of ways to go about this. So let's start it off by kind of establishing our panel right now.
All right.
So everyone looking at the camera right now, that camera, the main, looking, okay. So everyone looking at the camera right now, please raise your hands if you've seen Barbie. Okay. All right. Raise your hands again if you've seen Oppenheimer. Okay.
I'm sorry, I wasn't able to watch.
Actually really good because now we have a very diverse spread here of opinions and a lot of ways to go about this. So this will be really great in determining whether one's more worth it or the other, or if collectively Barbenheimer is really worth our attention and our money. So let's start talking about Barbenheimer first. Who wants to give us the rundown on what Barbenheimer is? What is this phenomenon? Karen, please take it away.
I'm dressed this way every day.
She is.
This Barbie is excited. So Barbenheimer is the couple name, the love team name of Barbie the movie and Oppenheimer because they released on the same release. That sounds wrong. So Barbenheimer is the couple/love team name for Barbie the movie and Oppenheimer, which dropped on the same day, July 19. In the States, it dropped July 21. This is quite a phenomenon because they have such contrasting genres and vibes. You know, one is all about, your hero's journey and, overcoming the odds. And the other one is Oppenheimer.
Somebody who saw Oppenheimer, and I enjoy Christopher Nolan films, it is not a happy film. So if you're into biopics and you want to find out about the life of J. Robert Oppenheimer, who was masterfully played by Cillian Murphy, I suggest you watch that, especially in IMAX. There are moral and ethical lessons to be learned from that, as well as what you do when you open Pandora's box, because that's exactly what happened when Oppenheimer built the atomic bomb. The US Army used it to drop bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Kaboom!
Yes.
Ooh.
So,
very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. It's not a happy film, but it was masterfully made, and you have an all-star cast including Florence Pugh, Emily Blunt, Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, just to name a few.
Yeah, the guy from Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Yes.
The Diary of a Wimpy Kid, that guy was there.
He was there.
The guy from Sky High was there. Isn't it nice to see the cinema thriving again?
Oh, definitely.
It's bustling with viewers.
Definitely.
And you know where actually, you don't even know which one they're watching because I saw people in pink and they were like, 4 for Oppenheimer, please. They're like, and then you have people in suits or like just people you do not expect watching like a really pink aesthetic film, a Barbie-core film basically, and they're all like a bunch of dudes like me and the bros pulling up to watch Barbie the movie. Like, it's interesting that this cross breeding that's happening among
it benefits both of them.
And so considering I've only seen Barbie, I was never able to watch Oppenheimer yesterday because sold out.
Yep.
Again, good for the film industry, or good for Hollywood.
Good for Hollywood.
Good for Hollywood now, yeah.
Good for Hollywood.
But good for theaters here also.
Yeah.
What I loved about Barbie was the fact that it served as a very entertaining way to get into Gender Studies 101.
They were highlighting Ken, what's his role in Barbie, and of course, root word, patriarchy. You'll see it there.
And matriarchy.
Yep.
Actually, they put both the extreme gender supremacist ideals.
Yes.
They showcase both of them. And, the point is, it hurts both men and women and all the identities within the spectrum. Because to achieve that kind of balance, you have to, make we need equality for all.
Exactly.
Hindi yung parang we will lord it over someone else. Dapat may hindi aangat. So it's so confusing to me that there are people criticizing it, saying, "Oh, it's pushing a feminist agenda." For Ken, for Ken and his abs.
And while it also makes commentary on capitalism and how Barbie was marketed brilliantly, may I add, when you watch that film, you can see that it's also toxicity if you push one agenda over the other. It really has to be a balance. And
That's actually one of the great takeaways for me when it comes to Barbenheimer in general. Visually speaking, and even when it comes to their source material, they're both very different stories.
Yes.
At their core, they're very different stories. They're both very hyper stylized in their approach. One of the best things about the approach of Barbie is that in that opening scene, no real spoilers here, but the way you're introduced to Barbie world is the way people would actually play with those actual dolls and interact with those actual play sets.
It reminds you of the commercials.
Exactly.
That I watched as a kid, and that were like aspirational to me. Like, I want to get one.
That was so great about it because, when you look at, movies that come from popular toy franchises, they really take those extra steps to really make the world feel lived in, like it's real, like it's tangible. But what's nice with the Barbie movie is that it really takes you at the very beginning into that sort of sense of childhood play that you could only get. And for me, it is, regardless if you grew up with Barbie or not as a toy, you're still gonna, if you ever played with toys as a kid, you're gonna find something to relate to with this movie.
Exactly, yeah. Honestly, that's the thing. Even us guys, we can relate to it because it was our era. And it also makes a commentary approach on generations. There's a generation gap, of course.
It's a girly movie. But it's also not necessarily about girls versus boys or anything. I think at the end of it, it's really about men and women trying to understand each other.
Yeah.
I like that you brought on that point because I really resonated with Barbie when she broke down after girl bossing too hard. And because girl bossing is such a buzzword, there's this pressure put on women to just be perfect and to reach those unattainable goals that reach Olympus. That's how high it is. And it keeps moving and moving. And I like the quote about, you have to be thin, not too thin. Like, there are all these contradictions about being a woman and the feminine experience. But also, you guys were talking about Ken.
Yeah.
And the thing with him is, it's also quite relatable, regardless of how you...
pilled.
Yeah, regardless of how you identify, because Ken could not find himself without having a relationship with Barbie. He couldn't find that identity. So I like the lesson for him that he had to be his own self, be a Ken without a Barbie. It's a Barbie and a Ken. So it's a good lesson for both. So it's interesting for me that there's some criticism about it being way too feminist when it's catering to both.
Yeah,
it caters to both.
Have you seen the movie, guys?
Yeah,
and that's also the thing to keep in mind. It's that when it came to Ken, it came to a point where it could have gone either way. They could have either found a way for people to sympathize with him or really gone all the way red pill with him. And ultimately, they actually did. What's actually really nice about it is that they did try to understand the reasoning over why you do have a subsection, a subsection of typically cisgender straight men, young boys in particular, who sort of attach themselves onto these ideas and whatnot. And it really actually tries to talk to them earnestly. Oh my gosh, watching Ken slowly go red pill was just...
And obsessing over cowboy.
As I said, the patriarchy.
His dojo casa house.
Oh my god.
Okay, admission time. I related to that. I related to that because back when I was a kid who did not know any better, I tended to look at my sister's Barbie. I mean, I was into He-Man, Thundercats, and all that, G.I. Joe, and I tended to look at my sister's Barbies, and I'd go, huh? that Ken over there, I'd like to see an entire toy line of Kens. And this movie showed it.
Yeah, you know, hyper-masculinity hurts
that?
everyone.
I wish I saw that when I was a teenager. Because I would have known better after watching
Yeah,
that
because
film.
there was a
Much earlier.
self-awareness with Ken later on. Like, he himself said that he didn't really enjoy the patriarchy when it was what it actually was. He was just like, you know, I thought it was going to be run by horses.
Let's explore the themes going into Oppenheimer, because again, for a double feature, this was a bit of a beast, and I do honestly wish that I had seen Oppenheimer first instead of Barbie first.
That is the recommended.
It's the recommended one.
It's the
recommended order.
taste.
I had to save my soul walking out of there, so I started chanting USA, USA.
Which I saw your status.
Yeah, why? And you've been whispering USA kanina pa.
Oh man.
Why?
Oppenheimer's like that meme. You know the meme with like the biker and then he puts his stick in the wheel and then he falls down and he gets mad. Like, who did it? You did it to yourself. You did it to yourself, bro. You did it to yourself. You made your own bomb. You made your own, you know, weapon of mass destruction. That's basically, there's like this dark humor there, actually. Like, you know, hoisted by your own petard. Yes.
Again, it's a Christopher Nolan movie, so it's one of those things where you have to sort of watch it a bunch of times over in order to really, because there's a lot going on. I don't know if you guys agree with me. It sort of felt like it was two different narratives coming together at once that was drawing together into a conclusion.
Yes.
Which I think we can all agree as we had discussed.
Even visually, you have the colored version and then the black and white
version. There is a lot, and it's one of those things where when those narratives end, it doesn't really, it has a conclusion, but it doesn't exactly have a climax.
It's so interesting because, you know, it's historical based, so we know what's gonna happen, but for some reason it's like, and then what? And then what happened?
There's a lot to take in.
There's a lot.
It's really based on how you enjoy these films, how you perceive it. But the best reference or comparison I can give is JFK. It's really like that. Like there's that black and white moment where they're interrogating. They have those Senate hearings, and you have introspectives with the character.
Kind of hitting with the X marks on this, because for me, like kind of going back to what we talked about earlier, where Barbie was kind of like a metaphor for gender norms, gender roles, and also massive consumerism in the 20th century. Oppenheimer, for me, has it has two overarching narratives that go against each other. For me, the first one, which you really see during the interrogation sequences with Robert Downey Jr., for me, it sort of feels like this much-needed conversation America needs to have with itself over its paranoid obsession with communism.
Yeah, like a call out, right?
It's a major call out. It's
fear of others.
Fear of others in general. It really went into that script. So you have that one narrative going through it, which I think is a very important narrative today. I mean, considering, you know, the sort of political climate you have in the United States. At the same time, it's easy to see where the A-bomb is basically a metaphor for things like AI and other nascent technologies of today. So these are, it's interesting because we have these two big blockbuster movies, both put together for the most part by couples, both attaching themselves onto themes and figures from the 20th century that still resonate with us strongly today. So I think that's probably like one of the big strengths of the whole Barbenheimer phenomenon, the way it just, things change, but things also didn't change.
And they stay the same.
It's like a cycle.
It's a cycle.
It's more things change, the more they stay the same. It's IMAX, so I would highly recommend watching Oppenheimer in IMAX. It was built for the format.
You're going to want to smoke after that. You're just going to want to have a cigarette.
Can I just bring up something very interesting? I like the non-verbal acting that was going on because they were doing the investigation. You see Cillian Murphy in the background the whole time that people are like talking smack about him and roasting him, and he's just there and he has RBF and he's just like...
Let me try that. Di ba may close-up si
Cillian? Yeah, it's so funny because in the background he's just like, you know, it's Yeah, basically those cheekbones were popping, the eyes were gazing, and it was just such an interesting way of blocking where you can see him all throughout. He didn't have any lines, he was just basically facially reacting to people talking smack. I mean, that's probably my face if people were like dragging me through the mud. I'm like I would have been like,
he was reacting to all the noise. He was blocking the noise out. And Cillian Murphy lost a lot of weight just to look like Oppenheimer.
He looks very gaunt. And I agree with Ronnie about, I don't smoke, but it feels like you need some sort of releaser. Like, I would probably be emotionally eating or something, because it's mentally and emotionally draining to go through those 3 hours.
It's mesmerizing, but it's not a happy movie, and that's why it also gives weight to his famous quote, "I have become death, the destroyer of worlds."
I am Barbie, destroyer.
There you go.
But you know what? I think it needs to be said that the Philippines was a beneficiary of the atomic bomb.
That's true.
Yeah.
But was there a better way of going about things without, killing innocent lives?
That's the big question.
That's the big question. It's a very moralistic and ethical question that everybody asks.
I think for questions like this, because I used to wonder about these things myself when I was in college and stuff, it's hard to have an opinion on it because we weren't there.
Yes.
I usually find for like questions like that, it's like, if you can find someone who survived, who was there during,
like the veterans.
Like the veterans, or even like someone who was a kid during World War, because they, some of them still exist up to now. Well, they, like, I'm talking about them like they're dinosaurs. Okay, they are. No, okay, I'm gonna be quiet before I go any further.
Don't dig that hole.
Yeah, because they brought up something like, okay, because they were having second thoughts about creating the bomb.
Yep.
And they're always saying, like, the argument is always like, okay, if we don't do this, someone else is gonna do it.
That's true.
And it's gonna be much worse because they're gonna do it for evil things. So don't you wanna be ahead of them and create it? But then again, if you create it, it's gonna be like an arms race now. So everyone's scrambling to have their own
moral
version of
and
it.
ethical dilemma and justification.
Oh yeah, by the way, if you are a sciencey person, you're gonna enjoy, because I'm not super sciencey, but I remember my grade school science, and when I saw Niels Bohr there, I was like, oh my gosh, brilliant. I recognize this guy. I actually know him. And that's why I understand when people say it's the Avengers for nerds, because there are so many scientific minds there. I mean, people were losing their mind when they saw Albert Einstein. Like in the cinema where I was watching, every time Albert Einstein, OL, was on the screen, people were shouting like, woo! Like he's about to like lay down the law. Like people threw him like the Captain America shield, and he's about to like throw down.
That's a good comparison.
Against the Axis powers. It's crazy.
So, we've shared our opinions on the movie. What's our rating? Let's start off with Adrian, who's going to be rating Barbie.
Because of the enlightenment that I got from Barbie and Barbie Land, and being Kenneth, I'm going to give it 5 Barbie dream houses.
I will give it 5 mushroom clouds.
Alright, and last but certainly not the least, Karen, with your ultimate Barbenheimer review. What's your ultimate Barbenheimer rating?
Barbenheimer is an experience you do not want to miss, so I will give it 10 horses. Come on, Barbie, let's go party. Come on, Bobby, let's go party. Woo!
And that's it for our pilot episode.
And if you missed this show, don't worry, because you can still catch the replays on Fridays and Sundays.
And for more Nerd Rage, you can always check us out on the Rock of Manila TV Facebook channel. Or if you don't even have the attention span for that, you could watch us in bite-sized little pieces over on our Facebook and our YouTube page.
Or our official website at www.nerdrageph.com. Once again, this is Adrian, Tattoo of the Geeks.
Tim, Pop Culture Crusader.
Veronica, that 90s chick.
Karen, your geeky Barbie, and we'll see you again next week right here on Nerd Rage!
Here on Rock of Manila TV.
Yay! Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.